Are you ready? Hey, think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break it down. Degenerate into something fool. We just got tired of doing what you told us to do. That's a brace, boy. Yeah.
William, what's up, dude? Long time no see.
you beat me to it, dude. Long time no see, Brian. How's it going?
Good, man. Guess it's back to reality where we only hang out on computer screens together.
Or as some people say, back to virtual reality, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I have heard people say that before.
Here we
Oh,
are.
man. Yeah. I mean, it was weird the first couple of days hanging out with you because there was an actual physical human in front of me, not a screen. I didn't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah. I didn't either, but I felt like this one was pretty fun because we've been looking at each other's face for months now. Like, even though we talk all the time and text all the time, it wasn't as weird as it could have been if we went on like a 6 to 12 month hiatus between football games and stuff from seeing each other. So it was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Even when we do stuff like that, we still, pick up right where we left off. That's what's awesome. Like, it doesn't matter how long the time frame is between hangs together. It's always just right back to it, man. It's pretty, I guess that's why we've been friends forever. Maybe.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Probably
you're
has-
exactly
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Cool, man. Everything else pretty good since you've been back. I'm sure the family, Allison and the roommates were pumped to see you.
They were huge cuddle sesh on the couch with the boys, recovering from a pretty long drive back home. Not as bad as back in the Myrtle Beach days, but it was still a good ride home and nice to see them, and they were happy to see Pop. So,
How long's the drive?
we only stopped once, so probably got in under 6 hours, but I had to drop off a couple teammates.
Yeah.
So around 6 hours, but we made it safely. That's what counts.
Good, man. Cool. Well, before we get into that, I'm going to do my usual spiel. Like, follow, subscribe on our Spotify, Amazon, and Apple Podcast accounts, and the Instagram. If you want to hop over there, we just posted a ton of videos and more videos than anything else from the trip. Some people were hitting me up saying, "For God's sakes, can you stop posting stuff?" And I was like, "Nah, we're just recapping the freaking week."
Yes.
We had everybody got involved with some on the spot top fives, which was so fun. Everybody was looking forward to that part, and everybody came prepared. Nobody came as better prepared than Cameron Sipsick did. He was a guest on the show, and then just becomes a freaking vet right off after just doing one episode with us. So
Yeah, he's a natural. He's definitely a natural.
yeah. So speaking of like the reviews on the different accounts, I'm going to hop into something that I'm going to call the Brian's Shoutout Spotlight, and got a pretty big list on the first spotlight session because William and I we are two people for the people, and we love you guys and we love shouting people out. It's my favorite thing to do other than the ranks and the hangs with William. So without further ado, I want to give a shout out to my buddy Nick from church. He listened last week and posted a review on Apple Podcast. So we appreciate that, Nick, very much. And hope to have you on the show one day, buddy. We got a spot saved for you. The other is our second grade teacher, Miss Whitlock. Where it all began with me and William. Started following our Instagram like a week or two ago. So I saw that and I was like, holy crap. Our second grade teacher, William.
Yeah, made my day, dude, when I saw that. When you sent that to me, I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, she's the OG. Never forget her. Love to have her as a follower on our Instagram. Love you and appreciate Miss Whitlock.
Absolutely. So let's see. We have a second review on Apple Podcast. There's 3 total. One of the co-hosts of Five Ranks Notice, just went on there and just did a review for ourselves. Not saying how great we are or anything, but just talking to the people. Just, hey, this is what we're doing. Just check us out, you know? So I was also testing to see if leaving a review pops up, because for like the longest time I would try to do a review on other people's too, and it just wouldn't pop up. So our other review, so you know how I randomly have different podcasts pop up on the Instagram. If they look interesting, I'll check them out. And then if I like them, I'll kind of try to connect with them and shoot them a message. So I came across one a couple weeks ago called, it's the Keeping It Weird podcast. 2 girls, probably around our age, both in the Charlotte area too, which is pretty cool. I reached out to them and they're listening to the show. I'm listening to their show. They have left a review on Apple Podcast. They have emailed us suggestions to 5ranksnotice@gmail.com, which, as we've stated before, is the way to get a hold of us and give us a topic idea. And then you never know, there could be room for you to come on as a guest in the future. So girls' names are Veronica and Carrie. Carrie's the one that reached out and left the review. So they're kind of shorter episodes, like 25 to 30 minutes. So super easy to just binge listen to them if you just have a short commute, or just ride around town for the day. And they've got, so some of the things they've talked about, like cringeworthy lows from high school. So like things you did in high school that us today would be like, dude, I was a loser back then. One of them was, so they started the show. Carrie came in with a topic, and Veronica had no idea what the topic was going to be, and then just had to kind of go along with whatever she said. And I guess apparently Carrie has a gap in her teeth and gets crap about it all the time from people. So the show is basically about, all right, Veronica, you got to tell me how good it is to have a gap in your teeth.
That's awesome.
And then one of their first episodes, which when I was going through, the one that caught my eye was they did an episode about pet peeves as well. So
Yep.
And there was about 3 of them on there. I was like, heck yeah. They didn't make my list, but if we were doing top 10 rankings, 100% they'd be on there. So I thought it was pretty cool, because I think ours came out that week where I found theirs. So I think that's why I hit them up. Hey, we got a Pet Peeves episode coming out too this week. So check this out.
Yeah, they have an Instagram account too, and they've got good videos on there, like reels and stories and stuff. They're really good with that. I don't know, social media editing, stuff like that. They're good for sure.
Way better than us.
We're trying our best over here. Yeah. All right, Brian. I'm trying.
One thing at a time. I'm on there just throwing these videos out, and then later I find out that some of them might be too long, and they didn't even get to listen to everybody's rankings all the way through.
Yeah. Well, we researched that. We're working on it, but yeah. Keeping It Weird's got a good social, great podcast, and you're right. It's just long enough to digest on a quick ride and stuff like that.
Yeah. So if you don't know, when me and William post our episodes through Buzzsprout, we get stats back of how many listens we've had and where people listen at. So most of the ones on there, the heavy hitters are, Virginia, Maryland, North Carolina. 9 times out of 10, if we see, all right, we definitely know those people. But we've recently gotten a kind of a boost in different cities and states that me and William do not know people in. So I'm just going to go through a couple. First one, I'm going to say it's Meriden, Connecticut. It's Meriden. So that one was a recent one, and they're plowing through. They're 6 episodes in last time I checked the stats. So whoever you are up there in Connecticut, we love you and appreciate you. A couple others: Plymouth, Michigan, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, St. Louis, Missouri, Jacksonville, Arkansas, which I'd never even heard of, Milton and Cookeville, Tennessee, and the best one yet, we had one listener from Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And our pet peeves episode, Brian, did you see that? We've got Sweden popping back up. Like we've got
That was the last one I was going to say.
Oh, sorry, I stole it.
No, you're good. We have a second Swedish listener. Then I went and looked at the map to see, is it a city right close to the other one? No, they're like 5-6 hours away from each other. So it's got to be 2 different people. So
yeah, that's crazy. Brian, I got a little 1-minute thing for you. Why don't you close your eyes real quick?
Oh yeah, I love doing this.
Put yourself on a plane about a year, maybe 2 from now. 5 Ranks Notice is doing its thing, and we do our first live show in Sweden. Ooh. You can open your eyes now.
That was a good visual.
How awesome would that be? I mean, really obviously love you and appreciate you, everybody listening from all over. It's blowing our minds. That's what we talk about the most. No matter what we see pop up, it's blowing our minds that people like the rank stuff just as much as we do,
Yeah, it's cool. I always like messing with the numbers or looking at them, and we had the whole Spotify situation where we had to merge it into the one. Including those numbers, we're pretty close to about 80 people per episode, which is pretty awesome for a startup group of guys that just love ranking random things. So,
yeah,
as we always say, we love. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and don't know 80 people combined.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And the other thing that blew my mind, William was hitting me up about earlier. So we posted one of the mini reels and videos we posted this week from the trip. The one where me and William are standing next to the bell on the golf course. I mean, we're near 2,000 views on that video alone, which is insane.
Insane.
And it's not just me and William turning it on Instagram and letting it run all day either. It's blowing my mind.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I'm speechless, dude. It's crazy. But we just keep doing what we love to do, and maybe more and more people will come hang out with us.
Yeah, maybe we can get that Factor Meals sponsorship and really get going. So, speaking of meals, I posted a video of Andrea and my nephew Asher, niece Tessa. She was kind of in the background trying to be the center of attention, but Asher took over the stage. They got bonus items: 2 large fries and 2 extra burgers. 4 bonus items. And guess what? Their last name's Sipsic. So, and then my dad listened to the episode, recently, and he hit me up with a story. He went to visit Jordan and Nick up in Dayton, and they went to your favorite, I would assume your favorite fast food restaurant, Arby's, William.
I love some
So
Arby's.
yeah. I know someone that used to work at one of those places.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. His name's William Hawkins, and he also worked at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh, man. You know me so well.
So my dad texted me, hey, yeah, we, got a bonus item from Arby's. I'm like, dude, I'm going to tell William. And then he went into more details. So when he was up there, they went to Arby's, and per usual, Sip Six staple, didn't check the bag. So when they were walking out of, the restaurant to go back to the car to bring it home, this other guy was going up to the counter and asking, "Where's my food? Like, I don't have my sandwich or whatever." So they didn't think anything of it because they got their food. They're out of there. They get back to Nick and Jordan's, and they found that guy's food because it was in their bag.
Yeah. Because their last name's Sipsic.
Yeah.
Or Rob's is. Sorry, Nick. Yeah, Rob's is. Well, it's all together at this point.
Yeah.
How much?
It's whatever card is swiped, man. That's the one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was nuts, dude. So, yeah, more bonus item stories. If you have any, shoot them over to us, because if the Sipsics are the only ones, then sucks to be y'all. So hit us up if you got any stories of bonus items.
Yeah, I want to know how much it is to change your name at the courthouse to Sipsic, or at least get a card. You guys hook me up with a card, because I just get messed up items, and I don't want to talk about those on here.
No, we don't, because after the pet peeves episode, it's full positivity from here moving forward. So
That's right.
speaking of positivity, I got to see you last week, man.
You did. We are on the other side of the best week of the year. Golf trip that we've been building up for ever since we turned on this podcast microphone. Yeah. Brian, what are your takeaways, if you will? We got to talk about it.
Yeah. First off, I want to congratulate Team Hawk on destroying Team Sip in the Ryder Cup competition. So there were 12 total matches over the 3-day period. So 12 points up for grabs. Team Hawk beat Team Sip 8.5 to 3.5. So I didn't put together, it's on me. I put the team together, I put the matches together. It's on me. I did not do great as a captain, but I will say I did lead by example on how to get points, because all three of my matches came down to the last hole, 18, and all three of my matches ended in a tie.
Yep. You were Mr. Clutch, if there ever was one. And don't beat yourself up about you weren't a bad captain. You worked with a great group of guys. I had a couple wild cards that went nuclear on you, and that's really where we ended up. And that's golf, right? Like, have the same trip next week, please. And it could be different. So, yeah, don't beat yourself up on the L. Happy to win, but more happy to have spent time with you, obviously.
Yeah. So, another big thing was Saturday night. I hit my 200th day of no drinking. So I remembered right when I was going to bed, I had retired for the night, got everything ready, and then I was like, dude, I got to go back down there. And I went back downstairs, said, dude, William, it's day 200. And William's like, celebrate, pumped. He's like, shots of water, everybody.
That's right,
So,
baby.
so there were a handful in the kitchen, and then about the other half of the group was over playing pool. Went and grabbed them. I mean, it was like no hesitation. Everybody was so pumped to come celebrate and support me in this journey. And it was awesome. Jeff had a great toast. And, one other thing that happened while we were there was my granddad Larry passed away on Friday night. And it was tough news to get, was not expected. But, I called and talked to him on Tuesday. So that really, really helped me, get through this time frame. It's the only thing that I'm like, dude, I am so thankful that I did that. And I called him for the purpose of having talked to him in a while, catch up and tell him that I'm about to go on a golf trip and what courses I'm playing and all that. So, the group of people that we went with, a lot of people that Williams met, and since he's moved to Maryland, a couple people just one person back from Virginia, Mickey, my brother-in-law, Mickey's buddy Jesse, who I've only hung out with once or twice, like 15 years ago. Just a smorgasbord of people from throughout our lives that we've met and come, and just the support and love that me, Cameron, and Nick got from everybody was just unbelievable. I couldn't have asked for a better environment to be in when you get such news like that. And my granddad loves golf. He played his last round of golf Friday morning. And so we have an individual championship belt that we now have for the lowest stroke play champion. And, when I suggested it to William and the other guys, without hesitation. So until this trip never happens again, that championship belt will be known as the Larry Tapman Lowman Championship. So, I mean, just an unbelievable trip with unbelievable people and mediocre golf. And I joked with William, I was actually kind of serious, like leading up to the trip. He mentioned, we should do this in 2025. And I was like, shut up. Don't you even mention 2025. But as I left, got home, I can't stop thinking about 2025. I've already gone against the not looking up anything for 3 months. I was looking up courses and lodging and all that crap last night. So I'm getting captains, trying to get captains set up. It's like I'm in full 2025 mode. And I think all of that has to do with just how awesome the trip was and how awesome the vibes were and how awesome the people were. So thank you, everybody that was on the trip. It's one for the record books. Your turn.
That was great. That was great, Brian. And I couldn't agree more. Yeah, we call it best week of the year, right? And it really is only like 4.5 days or whatever. But it feels like 2 weeks when you talk about all the things that you went through and how much golf you played and memories and the basketball we watched together. And I couldn't agree with you more. It's we call it best of the week of the year for a reason, and this year more than any, it showed itself that way.
Yeah.
I just have a few things to talk about. I have a couple cons. They're on me that I wanted to talk about. So on Friday, we played at a course called Talamore. It's got its logo is like a llama. We absolutely love it and loved playing it, all except the 7th hole at Talamore. And I told the people that weren't with me in my group about the story that were on the trip with me, so they can, skip 15 seconds ahead or whatever it's going to take me to tell this, but I got to let the people know. I was in the scariest moment of my life, okay, on the 7th hole. I dinked and dunked about 100 yards into a marsh away from the tee box, and my walking distance into the marsh was dry. I found my ball. I hit the most pure 4-iron I've ever seen in my life, right up the way in the middle of the fairway to 134 yards out. Then my brother, who was driving the cart for me, asked me if I want to go double back to the beginning of the marsh and get in the car with him or meet him on the other side. I'm about halfway through. The walk in wasn't bad, so I started walking. And the more I started walking, the more muddier it got, the less, brush it got. And next thing you know, Brian, I am above my knees, about waist deep, in a marsh with only my 4-iron to use as basically a canoe paddle to the edge of the marsh and out. And during this whole time, I am basically screaming, I'm stuck. And it's not like we were playing very fast, so as people that know about golfing, there's another group behind you. That group probably took a video and is going to make me a viral sensation in my dumb orange shirt while I was trying to paddle myself out of the marsh. So I survive. I get over there to my brother's cart next to my ball. I take my socks and shoes off. I put my waterlogged shoes back on because I got to keep playing. It's the best week of the year. I got to do it. And I proceed to hit the best shot of my entire life to 2 inches, a gimme of all gimmies, and tap in for bogey. And John, Mark, and Mickey all got doubles, and I won the freaking hole for my team. It was the most legendary, life-threatening moment of my entire life. The roller coaster of a 4-minute period you could ever imagine. I just had to tell the masses and listeners that if someone asks you, do you want to go through the marsh or the waist area, you say no. Like, just take the drop and enjoy yourself the rest of the way, okay?
Yeah. I got to tell you, when you told me that, I mean, typical William fashion, it was a comedic story making people laugh, but my initial reaction was I was terrified because it's a pretty big fear of mine. Like, back in the day, everyone's scared of quicksand. But like, if you're stuck in the mud, there's nothing you can do, man. Like that I got anxiety when you were telling me the story and there were fake laughs because it was more like, wow, that's scary. Let me just laugh this off and be like, ha, I don't want to do that. But yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're okay because that's scary.
Yeah. I think the best way to describe it is visibly shaken. I mean, that's what I was once I got through. Just happy to be able to proceed. And thank you to Mickey for getting me those calf-high socks. I love them. I still have them. I'm sending them back to you. The shoes will be retired, maybe cased. Maybe I'll put them in a case once they stop stinking or they dry out. But the only other con I have before I get into the sappy stuff I wanted to talk about is I am no longer, I was for about 2 seconds, maybe a few hours, but I am no longer a cigar smoker, Brian. It was horrible, and it still is to this day. I don't think I've recovered. I don't know how to smoke them. I could barely light them. It's not my cup of tea, and it will never be before. It will be for pictures only if I happen to win a Ryder Cup at the BWOTY trip next year.
Yeah. Yeah, man. They're potent. So if you don't smoke them the correct way. So yeah, I bought a pack of 20 of them because that was pretty much my only option. So the losers also got cigars. So we just kind of hung out afterwards. And as soon as I lit that torch that the bartender guy gave us, I mean, I don't think I inhaled one time. So, because I've done it before years ago, and it hurts. So I hope you get through that soon.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to, wait it out and not smoke anymore. I mean, that's really the key, is just don't keep doing it. And yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
but on the positives, let me tell you, you've said most of it, how awesome it was. I really want to take a second to congratulate you, and first and foremost, thank you. A significant amount of hard work that you put in to pick the courses we played, and no one had anything bad to say about them. They were absolutely exquisite. It is course wise, head and shoulders. There isn't could have been number one trip we had before on what we got to play now. They were absolutely
Yeah.
amazing. And then the things that you did, and I know you like doing this stuff. You just told us you're going into 25 already. I told you I'm not going to tell you. You said, don't talk to me about it. I put a timer on my watch. Don't talk to us about Brian for 3 months. All right. And you love to do this stuff, but the scorekeeping you did, keeping everything in order, keeping everyone informed, it's what makes this that much more, not just intense, but fun and something to look forward to. And you have been told by everybody there how much they appreciate it. But I'm going to do it right here so that everybody knows for the end of time it's very, very helpful and important, and it makes the trip that much more fun. And not to mention, you're doing all of this stuff. You amass your 200th day of sobriety while we're there. When I believe, and you told me that, you're good, you're doing great. This journey that you're on, you feel like you're in a really, really good place. But days 197, 198, and 199, with everything that was going on in that house and with your family back home, it couldn't have been much more of a tough test than I don't think you've had leading up to it. And it's huge. It's inspiring. I've told you already how much I appreciate you being my friend and us still having this. And I know that I've told you that I tend to try and make everything perfect and get everything right. And I just want you to know that you did. So whether you were stressed out about it or not, like I was, I think you did a hell of a job, a bang up job. And we need you around for the nth of time to keep kicking ass in the things that you do to help us for this trip.
Yeah. I mean, I made the decision early on that, excuse me. All right, I'm bringing my laptop. I'm bringing an extra computer monitor, and I'm going to have the daily leaderboards and scores each night. And, I'd get back from the golf course and kind of just go over there, do my thing, not really, intermingle with everybody. But the more I thought about it, I was like, these are the things I do now every day in my life to keep me from doing the other things that were negative in my life. So that's just normal me. Like, I'm not trying to be antisocial, because as soon as I was done with everything, I mean, I'm out there in the living room, we're watching basketball, we're, playing pool, pretty cool location. They had that bag tag wall, which I didn't look at it till the last night. And I found a Cedar Point Country Club bag tag, which is the location of the first ever job I had and the place I worked at, basically from when I was 16 to college. So I was like, holy crap, that is insane. So
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But
One last thing before we maybe hop into some ranks, Brian. I did just want to talk about like what I was thinking, what I was feeling on the way home. I think we both know how old we are and how long we've been friends, and that we're getting older. And I think we both know that we don't live in the same state, and we don't get to see each other's face, and we try to make the most of every time we do see each other. And most of the time it's in Neyland Stadium or this trip. But I do want the people to know that I spent a lot of time, and I think everyone should, that when they get these opportunities to, not take them for granted. I feel super, super fortunate having you as a friend and being able to make the most of our times that we have, even now on this podcast that we're touching base on minimum a weekly basis. But I think it's best said by the greatest paper salesman to ever graduate from Cornell. His name is Andy Bernard. And he said once that I wish there was a way to know that you're in the good old days before you've actually left them. And we're in them. And I'm so happy you're doing so well and that we can make this shit happen. Awesome. That's what I wanted to say.
It is, man. It's like one of the things I picked up on about myself this week, and even like before, I don't let stuff bother me. Like if it's in the moment, like, everybody was kind of rowdy and I'm trying to go through announcements, each night, and they're just being themselves, trying to be funny. And, I kind of just, I don't say take control of the room because I never got control, but spoke my mind and said, look, y'all need to shut the heck up. I want to get through this. I just want to do this. And then we can go back to what you're doing. So like in the moment, it was just like, I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel right now. I need y'all to stop, please. And then literally, as soon as we're done, it's like it never happened. It's gone out of my mind. I forget it immediately and just move on. So happened a couple different times. It was a roller coaster of a trip. And just, I mean, it's a lot of work to get to the point where I'm at. And, I've never been one to kind of like, hey, look at me, but I'm crushing it, dude. I'm crushing it. I'm proud of it. And I don't care if people think I brag about not drinking or like, I don't give a crap because I'm the one that's feeling good every day. So it's just, it's crazy. Like, and it's pretty awesome. So
Yeah, damn right, Brian. It's freaking awesome, dude. Keep it up. We know you will.
yeah. So are we ranking anything tonight?
Yes.
Or are we
yes.
just going to chat?
Big therapy session, but a worthy one. Having seen each other for the first time face to face since we started the podcast. So let's freaking rank some stuff.
Yeah. So WrestleMania 40 is this Saturday and Sunday, William. A staple
Yes, it is.
of our childhood. WWF, now WWE, which from here on out in this episode, I will be referring to it as WWE, even though it was WWF when everything that I'm about to tell you occurred. So
Same.
So, with WrestleMania coming up, William, what are we ranking tonight?
Tonight, we are going to rank our top 5 wrestlers of all time.
I've been waiting for this one for a while. And we were
I have too.
planning on when we're going to do certain topics. Some of them we try to schedule around, event, something relative to that's coming up for that topic. And this is one of the first ones we scheduled out from the beginning. Like this episode is coming out this week because it's WrestleMania. And let me tell you, I've not taken notes on any episode prior the way I did this one. It's insane. Like I know you can't read it, but like look at all that. That's just one page.
Oh my gosh.
And I was talking to Joseph last night because I was having like, there's a lot of great wrestlers in our era, but are there a lot worthy of being in the top 5 was something I was struggling with. So then we got to talking about WrestleMania, and then he mentioned that it was WrestleMania 40, which means to me, there's going to be some people there that we know from back in our day. And if you have Peacock, which I do, I get to watch it. So I went and looked at the matches that were going on, and actually a lot of people that I've heard of. So if I remember, I'm gonna throw it on next. I'm gonna throw it on this weekend. So
Nice.
but all right. I guess it's time to spin the wheel, huh?
Yep. Spin the wheel. Let's see if I can extend my wheel streak to 4.
Yes. It would be pretty crazy. The bell is ready, but
It is back.
I mean, it's there waiting. This is one that, I mean, it might happen, but I'm not counting my chickens. So, but I hope, man, I'm ready to do this thing. Man, it was right on the line, but your streak has come to an end.
No, baby. Brian's up first.
Back to the rightful order here. So I didn't really come up with any fun. I was like, maybe I'll give you their real name and you tell me who they are. But I did that with my first person, and I was like, dude, that's going to be stupid because everybody knows this person. My number 5 is The Rock. The Rock.
All right.
Great on a microphone. Very entertaining. And mostly I put him on here because when I was a kid growing up, Joseph, 16 months older than me. Cameron is about, 5-6 years younger than me. So we were all in that age where we could all wrestle together. And then once Jordan got to the age where, she was old enough to hop in, she was right there with us. Jordan was always my teammate growing up because I was like, I want her to know that I want her on my team, whether we win or lose. Jordan's on my team, whether we're doing football, tag team matches. But the person I wanted to be all the time was never available, which I'll get into later. But so I would always be The Rock. Being a kid, it's very easy to do the rock bottom. And, I mean, the people's elbow. I've never understood finishing moves like an elbow or like Hulk Hogan's leg drop. Like, how does that knock you out? Like, it's pretty boring. But that's what it was. He's, like I said, phenomenal on the microphone. And the dude can take a stone cold stunner like nobody else. Nobody's more dramatic taking a stunner than Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So, coming in at number 5, 8-time WWE champion, The Rock.
Am I up?
It's your turn.
Brian, can you see my face?
Yeah?
Can you see what I'm doing?
You're doing the people's eyebrow.
You know why?
Don't tell me, dude. My heart's racing.
Dude, dust that shit
No
off
way!
and ring that bell. Go! Come on!
No way!
Let's go!
Yes!
Right off the rip!
Let's go! We did it!
Go!
Oh my gosh.
We just had to go on a golf trip and see each other. That's it, dude. That's all we had to do.
Oh my gosh.
The Rock, baby.
Oh,
man.
gosh.
Oh man. Oh my gosh. Hold on a second. I gotta collect myself because I gotta.
Dude, I thought you were messing with me.
You just talked.
I thought you were messing with me.
No, dude.
My heart started
No,
racing.
Dude. I tried to poker face. I couldn't do it. I just started doing the people's eyebrow. Like, okay, I just got to like work on it because I wanted to try it. Oh, I'm shaking.
Wow.
I'm shaking.
I don't even know if
we just rang the bell.
I've rung the bell like before every episode so you can hear it. And I was so excited. I was like slapping it like, so, oh my gosh, dude, we did it. 13 episodes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So you talked a lot about The Rock, so I will spend my time kind of maybe going over my criteria as to not only why he's number 5, but kind of what I've been thinking. I too have a sibling who is younger, and I put a lot of emphasis and weight on my top 5 based on some of the same stuff that you talked about, being, play wrestling with your siblings, right? I used to rock bottom John relentlessly. We had a room above our garage. It was basically a wrestling ring. I mean, it really was. We had, I mean, you could do whatever you wanted to John in terms of wrestling moves, finishers, throwing him off the bed, hitting him with pillows, whatever it was. The Rock's got to be on there, at bare minimum, at for the reason that of how many rock bottoms John's taken in his lifetime.
Yeah.
But everything you said is exactly right. He's too good on the mic. He has too many memories in my brain not to have cracked my top 5. I don't really remember growing up like choosing who I chose to be the most. I'm sure I did. I just remember which finisher moves I was throwing down to get the 1, 2, 3 when it came time to battle. So, wow, I'm trying to collect my thoughts here. Like I said, you said most of it, but
Yeah,
I don't even know what to do with my hands. We just sling the ding, baby.
I guess we dinged and we lost internet.
Ooh, we turned the power off in Charlotte with our dinger, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, gosh, that freaking better have saved, man. But
It says here
we'll
that you're
see.
still going, so I think we're still
Yeah,
live.
I think it is, because even when I had to log back into to Riverside, like it said it was recording. So
Yeah.
how crazy
Okay.
is that? We get a dinger and then hilarious. We don't know what to do, so
You're gonna want to see. You're gonna want to see my face in the playback while I was in here by myself. I was like,
can't wait.
You just get rock bottomed over there. Oh man.
I did, dude.
All right. I'm gonna visually ask you, but the people listening on the pod are gonna be able to guess too who my number 4 is.
No way. Razor Ramon?
Hey, yo. Yes. Razor Ramon, Scott Hall. So I do want to, the story I'm going to tell about him is, I have a confession. When I first got into wrestling, you and your brother were hardcore WWF, now WWE fans. I had a friend, Ricky Serza, who was a WCW fan. He watched both, but he was more WCW. And so no matter where Razor was, and I think at some point in our growing up, he flipped to the NWO, and it was one of the greatest flips I've ever seen in my entire life. And for a good while there, when you have the WCW versus WWF Monday Night War, he was just so electric. And again, it was a more difficult move to do to my brother, the Razor's Edge, but it is such a badass move. It is incredible. And like you, talking to Joseph, because he loves this topic, we talked about the WrestleMania match with Shawn Michaels that was a ladder match. And it is one of the first wrestling matches that I remember seeing when I go back that far. Because at that time, he was in the WWF. So I think he's great. Him and Kevin Nash were just electric television for the longest time, no matter where they were. And I'm a huge NWO guy because of my guy, Ricky Serza. We do For Life all the time. Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, rest in peace, solidly in my top 5.
I just looked back at my rough draft of my rankings because Razor Ramon was on there, no question. And I was nuts. I was like, we won't ding that. We won't have Razor Ramon on there. But yeah, I just opened my notebook to just double check, and also to see what slot I put him in. But I didn't put numbers down when I did that. But yeah, he almost did, but I didn't. I may have accidentally honorably mentioned somebody, but I didn't. So, and I will tell you,
mentioned, Brian.
bonus mention, yeah. Good call. You know what? A great place to do the razor's edge on somebody is when you're in a pool. We used to do it in my grandma's pool all the time. So
Yes.
it's a lot safer doing it there than up in the room over the garage. I'll tell you that.
Yes.
So, all right. My number 4, legend. The dude has wrestled for 33 years, 30 of which have been in the WWE. He's a 4-time champion, and he's had some epic matchups. His name is The Undertaker. I turned on his Hell in the Cell match with Mankind. I think it was last night, yesterday, or Sunday, because that's one of my favorite matches of all time. He throws Mankind off the top. He choke slams him through it. Just one of the greatest matches of my fandom of wrestling growing up. But not only that, he's had Buried Alive matches with Stone Cold, Mankind, Kane, and Vince McMahon. And not to mention, he's had epic battles with Shawn Michaels and numerous WrestleMania matches with Triple H, if I remember correctly. Kind of stopped watching, but him and Triple H would like wrestle at every WrestleMania, and they were the longest matches and like epic matchups throughout his long career. So, 4-time WWE champion, The Undertaker, is my number 4.
Yeah, great choice. He's got to be on the Mount Rushmore, right? The longevity and the different things. He's been the American Badass before, and like he's changed it up a little bit. He's always the dead man, though. Great choice. He had to have been on one of ours, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was shocked when I looked up and saw he's only won the WWE title 4 times. But
that is crazy.
Yeah. So on to my number 3. I don't know if this is a controversial pick because he is a wrestler. And I'm going to give you reasons why this guy's in my number 3 here in a second. My number 3 is Vince McMahon. Not only was he the CEO, he was a wrestler. And any time that he's in a match, you know that the hype is elevated because you're going against your boss. And when Vince McMahon is on the screen, it is full-blown entertainment. Whether he's in the ring on the mic or, you know, he used to be a commentator and he was probably just as maybe more dramatic than Jim Ross. Like he was crazy dramatic, and just his hatred and storyline with Stone Cold was insane. It's just some of the stuff he does, like with his hands, like when he introduced Mike Tyson, it was like Mike Tyson, just like dude, calm down, dude. You're gonna have an aneurysm, Vince. So, and then just how pissed he would get when Stone Cold would ruin stuff. Just, oh my gosh, so awesome. And I looked up everybody's record too in the ring just to see like how many matches has he actually wrestled in. And there was actually a lot of draws in there, which I assume maybe disqualifications or whatever.
Yep.
But he's 30 and 22 in his career. He has won 1 WWE title. He has won an ECW title once they merged. And he's also won a Royal Rumble that started with numbers 1 and 2, Stone Cold and Vince McMahon. I mean, he did crawl out of the ring and go hide around the arena throughout the match and didn't really participate. But if you don't go over the top rope, you're still in it. And
Still there, yep.
I mean, it was a great strategy, and clearly it worked out for him.
He's got great intro music too, dude. I mean,
Yes.
it's a point to be made. Like, if you've got good intro music, you got a chance. And he was the biggest heel in the Attitude Era, in my opinion. And I'm not going to fault you for putting the boss man, not the big boss man, but
No.
Vince McMahon on the list.
Yeah, it was just, think back, like, when that guy's on the screen, like, I'm locked in. Even if I'm got it on in the background, working from home, if I see Vince or I hear his music, it's an attention grabber. So that's another key factor with a lot of these ranks is the intro music. Whose music hits and everybody just stops what they're doing. I think there's only a handful that have that kind of a effect. And yeah, this is one of them. I didn't even think about his intro music till you mentioned it.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, incredible.
Yeah, his son's Shane's intro music, same level of greatness. Just only mentioning that because he's not on my list, but intro music is very, very special to us because we lived in the world of CDs. That's right, kids.
Yes.
We used to live when there were compact discs, and we used to pick them up, and we used to ride around and play Kurt Angle's CD, his song, around the Chesapeake Mall, Chesapeake Square Mall, and, let people know that we were here, all right? We were here. That's what we used to do, okay?
Joseph still probably listens to those WWF CDs with their intro music. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, my number 3, bouncing over to me, right?
yeah.
This guy captivated me, and this is why he's at number 3. He is the most captivating reveal to the WWE, signing, reveal, whatever you want to call it, that I have ever seen. I was literally on pins and needles watching his 10-second clips before you knew who he was, before there was the internet, before any of that stuff. I didn't read the magazines or anything, and you would just hear this air, 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 and then there's just clock counting down. This clock just counting down for weeks and weeks and weeks. And during that same time, there was internet, but it was very, very new, and people getting really scared about whether or not their computers were going to break, and people were going to lose their lives, and aliens were coming. But no, you know who was coming, Brian? Chris freaking Jericho. That's who was coming. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time, even out of the reveal, he is amazing. He didn't get the love and respect and he didn't get the top tier matches and shit that he should have gotten in the WCW. And Vince saw something in him and he brought him out, and he had this little weird ponytail thing with long hair everywhere else, and he used to wiggle it around, and he had this flashy jacket. If you go back on YouTube and watch his pop when he first shows up to the WWE, it literally is giving me goosebumps right now talking about it. It's insane. His finisher moves don't rank very high in the how many times I did it to John ranks, because I didn't like to do a lot of you can't get a lot of fun putting your brothers in submission moves. I mean, there's only so far you can go, you know what I mean?
Right.
But his Walls of Jericho or Lion Tamer or whatever, but his Lion Salt was awesome. He just has one of those all-timer personas. He has great intro music. Yeah, he's a bona fide, solid top 3 wrestler of all time for me, and he reached really, really great heights throughout his time in the WWE once he got there.
Yeah, dude, Jericho's awesome. I love that guy. Thought about him, but I don't know if he was just. There's just people that I just love better, you know.
This is a tough top 5. I even told you before this. I almost swapped my number 5. I mean, right before the show, and then this happened. So yeah,
I had I had to talk to Joseph last night just to like talk it out with somebody. Like, dude,
Yeah.
is this person worthy? Like, I mean, I took this one very seriously because this is, I mean, wrestling was our childhood, man.
It was.
We'd go over to Justin Moore's house and watch pay-per-views all the time. It was like Monday Night Raw. Dude, Monday was like the best day of the week when we were kids.
Yeah. I remember not being allowed to watch wrestling. And it took me and probably you convincing probably my mother when my dad was like doing night duty on the boat or something like that. But it took convincing, especially to stay up late one night when you guys went to that Raw. That one night I actually got to watch. So yeah, it is when I think back, like top 3 things that were going on in my life growing up for sure. But we got to get to number 2, and I'm just going to come right out and say it, dude. This one could have been number 1. I mean, we're talking razor thin, okay? And I'm going to probably catch a lot of shit for this, but my number 1 is my number 1, and I'm going to keep it. My number 2 is none other than the man who has the finisher move that John probably could set the world record on how many times he's received them. It is Stone Cold Steve Austin, John Hawkins taking probably 4,372,000 stunners in his life. He is the GOAT in wrestling. I will not deny it. He is not the GOAT in my rankings. But he is everything. He captivated the world. He captivated.
Man, we're having issues yet again. Guess it's just part of the podcast life. William popped off. I think it happened with Cameron and when we had Cameron on last week. Just a bunch of technical difficulties here. It's
This is crazy. Can you hear me okay?
Like we're at a live event with our technical difficulties. Yeah, I was just talking to everybody listening while you took a break. It was your turn to take a break. Here. Yeah,
what's up with the dinger? The dinger sabotaging our show. I don't get this. We never had this before.
No.
I think I left off talking. Yeah, I think I left off talking about John being the world record holder of taking stunners, Stone Cold being the GOAT, and truthfully, every storyline he was ever in, from King of the Ring all the way through his many just incredible pay-per-view matches, and of course, dousing Vince McMahon in every different type of liquid possible you could think of, whether it's beer or milk, doesn't matter, driving Zambonis. Stone Cold's my number 1 in a lot of ways, but he is my number 2 in the ranks, and I will leave it at that.
It's a great pick, man. He's definitely one that every single person in this world probably knows. So I'm going to get to my number 2 now, unless, the dinger curse continues to happen. I'm going to try not to get too detailed with this just because I think I know what's coming up in the future. But my number 2 is yet another personality that thrives, especially during promos. Watched a couple today while I had the WWE Network on the background, doing a little research and getting prepped. His name is Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. The guy, so he starts out as this like, I can't remember. He was known as Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and just his persona or character he was playing was just like this snooty rich guy from somewhere. And then he met this guy named Shawn Michaels and created Degeneration X, which theme music is one of the ones that, oh, oh, everyone stop what you're doing. DX is coming down. And then, you know, after Sean left, got a new group of people. And you mentioned the Monday Night Raw that your mom let you listen to or watch. So I got a great story about that. The night Raw came to town. It was at the Hampton Coliseum. WCW, or as they said it, WCW, Triple H would, was at the Scope in Norfolk. So that was the night of the DX invasion of WCW. You, if you're a wrestling person, even if you're not, you know or have heard of the invasion. It was awesome. It was me and my dad and Cameron. We get there. We don't have signs or anything. I was just pumped to go to Raw. These guys get out of their cars. You guys got your signs? My dad's like, what are these guys talking about? And then we get to the second hour of the show. My dad thinks it's time to go. And he's like, looking like he's about ready to head out. I was like, and I'm like cheering. Dude, it's the second hour, Dad. He was like, what? We got another hour of this? So, and then that's when The Rock is, I know traditionally they're known as baby faces and heels, but I did not know that until I was well into my adulthood. So I call them good guys and bad guys. That's when The Rock was a bad guy. When everyone's chanting Rocky sucks. And Cameron's probably 7 or 8 years old, just, Rocky sucks. My dad looks down like, Cameron, what are you doing? So, great time. But the best part was who didn't get to go to Monday Night Raw that night. And his name is Joseph Sipsick, the biggest wrestling fan I have ever met. And he got suspended from Western Branch Middle School. Giving out a bunch of Stone Cold Stunners to people. I wrote down he had a list. He wrote down a list of everybody's name he stunned. My guess is 107 people. So, you know how good I am at guessing. So, I didn't want to ask him. I just wanted him to listen to the episode and see how close I was. So, not only was he not able to go to Monday Night Raw, he got shipped over to the Kim Aston Correctional Facility for middle schoolers because my mom and dad were just done with him at that point. Like, you need to go live with Kim for however long it was. And she did not let him watch Raw that night. So he thought punishment enough was not being able to go. Nope. Oh, Kim Aston. I'm going to throw another curveball at you, Joseph. You not get to watch tonight. So good. I think she recorded it and let him watch it. I don't know, days or weeks later. But yeah, it's hilarious. He's probably still pissed to this day that he didn't go. So
phenomenal.
Yeah, it was so. Well, that's my number 2. There's a lot more I could say about him, but I've got a lot to say about this next person. This person's been mentioned tonight, William.
I bet.
I'm going to just right out and say it. The greatest wrestler of all time is Stone Cold Steve Austin. There is no better intro music in the history of wrestling than when the freaking glass shatters. Everybody knows something awesome's about to happen. And I told you I've thrown a bunch of stuff on since I got home from the trip, kind of get prepped and some nostalgia, some of William's nostalgia corner or whatever it's called. Is that right? We haven't been here forever, so I'm starting to lose my mind.
You got
but
it,
it's
bud.
just
Yep.
so like incredible. Like yeah, his matches are awesome, but it's the non-wrestling matches with Stone Cold Steve Austin that get me going. So six-time champion. He's won the Royal Rumble 3 different times, and he's also won King of the Ring once. That's when Austin 316 was born. So you mentioned a couple of the Zamboni and the beer truck. So I've got a whole list of vehicles he's driven and things that he's done to Vince McMahon. So I'm just going to go over a couple of these things. So there was one episode of Raw where he was in a boom forklift and he went and picked up Triple H's car and just slammed it to the ground. There was also an episode where he drove an ambulance to the ring. I guess beat the crap out of Triple H, put him in the ambulance, drove it back out, and while Triple H was still in the ambulance, gets in a semi-truck and rams the ambulance. And then he used a huge crane to drop like a big block of cement or like a big steel beam onto the DX Express, which was like a big tour bus that DX used, and it just exploded. So, and not to mention the Zamboni, but the beer truck was the best, dude. Just spraying Vince with the beer. Hilarious. Other things he's done to Vince. One of my favorites was the hospital room attack when he was dressed and acting like a nurse. And Vince thinks he's all good to go. And then, nope. He's like, "Doctor, you need anything?" The nurse. And then he was like, "No, I'll take it from here." And then Vince's face immediately like, "Oh, crap. That's Stone Cold." The other time he dressed as a cameraman, well, there's a cage match, I guess, about to come on, and locked him and Vince inside the cage and then took the costume off. And then you can imagine Vince's face when he had another surprise. I think it was, I guess they went away from USA for a little bit. So the first episode back on USA, he gave the Stone Cold Stunner to Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, and Linda McMahon all at the same time. Poured the cement truck into Vince's Corvette, which I think I've heard is still at that arena, but my sources haven't confirmed that with me, and I haven't Googled it. So, and then one of my favorites too, when he had the toy gun in the ring, and he made Vince piss himself because he thought it was a real gun. And then when he shoots it, it's just a bang, 316 little toy gun flag. So there's no better storyline that's ever happened than the Vince and Stone Cold stuff. It's just so incredible. I know it's described on a documentary that I've watched. Like, dude, this is every person's dream. They're living their dream through Stone Cold because he's kicking his boss's ass, and that's just something a lot of people want to do, but they can't because they'll get fired.
Yep, that's exactly right. Yep.
So, the gap between 2 and 1 for me was a landslide. And the reason I was always The Rock growing up is because Joseph, the older brother, always had first pick, and he was a great Stone Cold. So it was hard to take that away from him, and he wouldn't ever let me take it away from him. So Stone Cold Steve Austin, I could watch his stuff all day, every day.
Yeah. Joseph better be good at being Stone Cold if he got suspended at school for dishing out stunners. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You better have been good.
Yeah, no. All right, dude. That's all I got, man. My ranks are done.
Yeah, that's great. I am not going to argue with your list at all. Your number 2, no suspense, is my number 1. To me, DX, the Triple H, Shawn Michaels friendship. My bonus person that I was going to put on here was Badass Billy Gunn because I thought maybe tag teams needed to be a little more represented. That whole group was, they were the class clowns, right? So for me, I didn't have a boss growing up. Maybe it was my dad or my mom, but they made all the rules anyways. It is what it is. But I was more of a class clown growing up. I like to crack jokes. I like to make people laugh. And that's what they were doing for me when I was watching them night in and night out. I mean, my brother and I don't know when we got it, but we weren't supposed to have it because it's not like, so we got the DX VHS growing up, right? And it was the first time I'd seen unscribbled Hooters on a TV screen in my entire life. All right. So that pretty happy you didn't have water in your mouth that time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That whole group, and Triple H to me, I know Sean he's when on the Mount Rushmore, he's probably
right.
higher up the list than Triple H. But Triple H was my guy. Whether they were ripping on Sergeant Slaughter or about him like spitting on him and stuff, and they pulled out the face mask with the little windshield wipers, or talking about their privates or whatever, and they were the class clowns. They were the jokesters. And he did it so well. He kept everything together as best as he could. As of course, they end up breaking up eventually. But even when he gets past that, though, and becomes the Game, another phenomenal entrance music, and he literally stands alone at the top for a significant amount of time. Has wars with The Rock before The Rock becomes a movie star, and then even works in the Faction or whatever it was called with Batista and Randy Orton and brought them up. That was about the time that I got out of it. But no matter what, anytime I checked in, he's always there. He has what I think is maybe second, probably just because I love him, a finisher move. John's taken plenty of pedigrees in his lifetime. But he's the reason that I love wrestling. He did it all for us in the Attitude Era and then made it fun to watch even out of the Attitude Era with the way he took over. I've been to a Raw in Greensboro, North Carolina, where he won the WWE Championship. It wasn't like a pay-per-view or anything, but it's something I hold near and dear to my heart, is to see him in a championship match live. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, my GOAT is Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and Triple H is, he deserves a spot here on both of our top fives.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't want to get too detailed in mine because I knew that was going to be your number one. But as far as your 2 through 5, no idea. So
Yeah.
when I was doing my research and all that, I've got how many times people have won championships and all that, and their winning percentage and all that. So I think that stood out to me with Triple H. And I thought the same thing. Like with DX, he was the entertainment, makes everybody laugh. But then post DX, that's when the legend was born. The guy won 9 WWE championship belts. And that's the only one I kind of wrote down until I got to him. Because now they have the heavyweight championship belt. So he's won that 5 times. Not to mention the European titles, intercontinental titles that he's won. The dude and another thing about him, he doesn't drink alcohol, dude. It's my homie.
Yeah.
He used to do the same thing that I'm doing now with all the guys that are going out and getting hammered. He just goes and hangs out, but he just doesn't drink. So
He's great. Yeah.
yeah, I was moving him up and down. I was like, dude, he's the stuff he's done after I kind of stopped watching is why he's in the position he is now in the company. So, and not to mention he's married to Vince's daughter, but that where they got married at the Vegas drive-through, man, hilarious. That's another bit, man. And then,
Yeah.
Obviously got married in real life, but yeah, do that. That was
Yeah.
so
I'm
funny.
pretty sure I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure Undertaker, who was on your list, crucified crucified Stephanie at one
Yeah.
point while they were together. Yeah, he's great. He's great. He can do it all. He can be menacing. He can be funny. I just will never forget all of the laughs that he gave me and my brother. It's one of my fondest memories from watching wrestling growing up. Is sitting on the couch, cheering him on, and busting out laughing every time he came on the screen with John. So yeah, that's why he's there.
I sent you and my brothers the video of like the special announcement, and like Shawn Michaels was the leader of DX, and he starts it off. It was like soon as like he moved away and Triple H stepped up to the mic, it was like, we don't need you anymore, Shawn. Like, this is the guy. Because
Yep.
I can't remember what he said, but I know it's hilarious because I sent you all the video, and I've seen that thing so many times. Yeah, he's awesome, man. All right. Well, it's our first ranks we've done in quite a while, dude. I think we knocked off the dust pretty well.
Yeah, we got a
Before
dinger.
Yeah, dude, we got a dinger. Holy crap! Yes.
Yeah, we got a dinger. It was awesome.
We got rock bottom, lost internet. You disappeared for a little bit, so it's a crazy night.
Yeah.
A crazy night of first. Like, that's never happened. That's the first time I've ever gotten disconnected.
Yeah.
And then you went away. We got a freaking dinger. Holy crap!
Holy crap.
Oh man. So I just got one trivia question for you before I am done for the night. So, I kind of looked up, who's won the most belts, whatever. And I decided to choose John Hawkins' favorite title belt, the Intercontinental Championship. Who has won the most Intercontinental Championships and how many?
Oh my gosh. Can I get an era?
His name has been mentioned this evening.
I think it's The Rock. That's the first name that came to my mind.
That is incorrect.
Okay. Damn it.
Do you want another? He's in your rankings.
The three
I'll tell you
guy.
that. He's in your rankings.
And not in yours?
Not in mine. Which narrows it down to two people.
I know. Flip a
Or
coin,
three
dude.
people. Oh, yeah, two people.
It's two. It's between Scott Hall and Chris Jericho. I'm going to go Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho.
Come on.
I'm not going to make you guess the number, but he's won it 9 times.
Nice.
So it was pretty impressive.
Nice.
I was just glad when I Googled that one, it's like, oh, thank God I know who that person is. I think the guy that's won the most WWE titles is some new guy. I have no idea. I've never heard of the person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I'm not the guessing guy anyway. You're the pro at that. I wouldn't want to.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. Okay. That's it from you, Brian. I got one Guinness World Record that I'm going to talk about before I forget about cigar smoking for the rest of my life, and then I can get us out of here. All right. Guinness World Record. I told you earlier at the top, I started and finished cigar smoking all in one day over our golf weekend. But there is someone from Nashville. It's an entrepreneur. He's not only won the title of the cigar smoking world champion, but he set a new world record when it comes to it. Darren Cioffi, or Cioffi, owner of a Nashville-based Principal Cigars, became the cigar smoking champ by outlasting 74 other competitors at the 5th Annual Cigar Smoking World Championships. He smoked cigars for prolonged cigar smoking for 1 hour, 55 minutes, and 35 seconds. 2 hours of straight puffing the Cubans, dude. And I was coughing reading it. I'm glad I've gotten over that part. But never again, man. I don't want to be friends with that guy. I'm sorry, because he's going to bring the stuff that I don't need around in my life. Yeah, wild. 2 hours? Get out of here, dude.
I'm actually kind of shocked that it's not longer than that. Just, I don't know. There's some big ass thick cigars that they make, but I'd be interested to maybe watch on TV how that competition works, not watch it live in person. Just to, it's got to be very boring to get tickets to the cigar smoking contest.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was reading it, I was just thinking to myself, all right, I tried to smoke my first cigar. Didn't go very well. Maybe I went for like 3 or 4 minutes. And then back at the house, I wanted redemption. I did it for about 10. I just looking back on it, it's like, how could I do 2 hours? Like I'm dying from a cumulative total of 5 minutes or 15 minutes. It's brutal. I guess if you're a pro, maybe you go try and tackle that record, but no smoking, kids. All right, no smoking at all.
Nope.
Anything else on your end, Brian, before I remind people what they need to be doing when they're not listening to us?
Nothing major. Just great to be back in the studio. I know it was obviously way better to see in person, but you know, this show's been probably one of the best things that's happened to me in recent time or whatever. But and I love it. And one thing I wanted to also mention, you're trying to make everything perfect for everything. It's exactly how I was with the show early on, and we've talked about it on the show. I was getting stressed out, and like if I coughed or I mumbled or whatever, or I said whatever, or all that crap multiple times, or you could hear me breathing during, interviewing my brother. I think I'm the only one that's noticed that. But, dude, I don't give a crap. We've got great listeners. We got a lot of them, a lot of supporters. I think we're at the point, it doesn't matter what we put out there. People are going to be listening, dude. And we have the funnest time each week doing this stuff, man. So, but I know exactly what you mean when you try to make things perfect, because I went through that very recently with the funnest thing that we do when not together in person. So, but just, let's keep riding this train and don't give a crap what if people don't like a topic or we're doing this or doing that. Like, it's our show. We love everybody, but ultimately we're going to do what we want to do. So,
Yeah.
because that's what makes this show what it is.
Yeah. Couldn't have said it better, Brian. Getting incrementally better on ourselves, helping each other out along the way. That's why we're here, and we love to rank things. Professional rankers here. But for those of you that do love us, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, ask your friends to subscribe to us on Instagram. A lot of traction coming up. A lot of funny videos from our trip are out there. You could spend 10 minutes just sitting down watching all of our friends and family participate in the things that we love to do. First and foremost, ranking things. So please don't forget, connect with us in any way how you want to. Don't forget to email us at 5ranksnotice.com. We love the traction we're getting there. We have a bunch of fun stuff coming up very, very soon. But last but not least, as always, everyone, we love you and appreciate you.